Hey guys, welcome back to Nioh. This time we're looking at the best missions in both of the games. No scoring systems for this one, just gonna talk about which ones I found the most enjoyable. Let's start with something simple. Number 10, the Village of Cursed Blossoms. I think this is a near perfect introduction to the game. The very first enemy you fight is a weakling, as it should be, but the second enemy is one that you're probably meant to run away from on your first playthrough, which is what I did. The horse monster has a lot of health, akin to that of a real boss. In fact, some sites listed this as an actual boss. Maybe it should have been included in my boss ranking, I don't know. But I like that there's this optional challenge for players who are up to it. Besides that, the first scary enemy is this Enki, which I think are pretty good enemies and a good introduction to the tougher yokai. Then as the level progresses you find a village full of human enemies. This place is pretty rough, I feel. I died a bunch of times to the axe wielding guys. But it teaches an important lesson. Mind the snipers. They're everywhere in this game and taking them out first is vital to your survival. But the level also introduces you to the first yokai realm, where enemies are stronger and your ki replenishes lower. But in turn you get to use your soul core abilities more. Not much to say about it, it's a decent introduction to them as it's not too hard compared to some of the later ones. And the level finishes off with a good first boss. But what I like the most about this level is the look and atmosphere of it. I like how gloomy it is. It's a way better start than the first game's intro, I think. Number 9, Yokai Country. Despite not liking any of the DLC in this game much, I think it starts off well with a good level which ends on a high note with a decent boss. And I like snow levels. This place looks kinda similar to Painted World of Ariandel. Not quite as pretty though, but what I like the most about it is the new enemies it introduced. I was so tired of fighting all 5 same enemies throughout the entirety of the main game. So seeing some new faces was good. And those enemies are interesting. It was like straight out of the movie The Thing when I saw a samurai's head turn into a giant snake creature. However, one part I don't like is the swamp full of the kappa creatures. They're just really annoying to fight. So I kinda just ran by this part. And what? But everything else is solid. And compared to the main game, it's quite challenging. Especially these yokai with cleavers. They have very abnormal combos. I still haven't gotten used to fighting them. But yeah, I think the challenges this level has to offer are well done for the most part. Number 8, the mysterious One Night Castle. There isn't really much for me to say about this one. I just liked going through it. It looks nice and colorful compared to most levels. And it has a pretty fun encounter with this disgusting worm baby enemy. It gives you a pretty powerful ability, so killing it is definitely worth it. And the area has some neat folding level design and shortcuts. And you get Aquaman to fight alongside you. And having a friend in a level is something I always enjoy. And you can bond over a bath with him. It's too bad you have to kill him later. I also like how you can see traces of the boss before reaching it. You can see scratches on the trees which come from Kamaitachi. And I like this boss. Number 7, the Demon King revealed. This level is quite unique compared to most. First of all, it looks really cool with all the Amrita crystals and floating buildings. And you again get company in this level. You get both Hanzo and Okatsu, and while I had some trouble keeping them with me throughout it all, it's fun to clear out areas with them. However, they do balance it out by making the enemy encounters much tougher than what they would be if you were alone. They're some of the more fun challenges in any of the levels though, in my opinion. For the most part anyway. But my favorite part is when you reach the big ass castle. It's mostly empty inside, but if you go outside the castle you have the option of fighting 4 bosses. Onryoki, Hinoenma, Nioh and Yoroguma. This is on top of the 3 boss fights inside the temple itself. And I like boss fights. Having 7 boss fights in a single level is great, even if more than half of them are reused. But they are optional, so I won't complain. The only thing I will complain about is the lack of interesting level design. It's pretty straightforward. But in terms of spectacle and fun encounters, the mission doesn't disappoint. Except for Yamata no Orochi. Number 6, the ocean roars again. I hate these water blob enemies. You can kill them nearly instantly with fire, but without it they're a pain to deal with. I also get quite scared of the many ledges in this area. You can't swim in this game, so falling into the water is instant death. But aside from that, I like it. The boss fight here rewards fully exploring the area, which is nice. But if you don't feel like it, you can just fight the boss almost right away. However, you will have a rough time with all the additional enemies it will spawn. You see, if you find these torches, you can prevent them from spawning, which I highly recommend. You don't want to fight the boss without doing it. But it's a good level, I like it. Number 5, the Mausoleum of Evil. The level starts off outside in the snow. You can see this temple nearby, and it seems pretty normal from this view. Your first objective is to find a jewel and put it into this statue. Once you do that, the water is lowered and you realize how weird and distorted this place really is. Seeing this was trippy as hell, and that's why I like it. It's a cool level with a unique look, and it's fun enough to play through it. And lowering the water multiple times and each time revealing that there's more to the level was neat. And in my boss ranking video I complained about the run back to the boss being bad, but upon replaying this level I found the switch that gives you a quick path to the boss. It was kinda hard to notice it though, so I don't blame myself too much for missing it the first time. And the boss is good, so yeah, it's a cool level. Number 4, the Golden Castle. This level is Nioh 2's version of the Demon King revealed mission. It even looks similar, which is a positive because the castle in that level looked gorgeous, and it does in here too. Here you mostly fight human enemies, and you know what? I like fighting human enemies. It's pretty satisfying to break their key and then just wreck them. And then you enter the painted world of Ariamis and fight Enenra again, but I don't mind because I like Enenra. Then you go through the level some more until you find another painting you can enter. This time it's... oh my god! My most hated boss in the game. Except that this time it seems better tuned for the late game and was actually an alright fight. So to my surprise I didn't mind it. The next boss you fight is Kasha, which obviously is a good thing because it's one of my favorite bosses. But the level ends with one of my least favorite fights. But even though I said otherwise in my boss ranking, I do think it's kind of a better version of Yamata no Orochi. At least you can fight the boss at all times, so it's not a waiting game. But even if I didn't particularly enjoy that fight, the level itself was fun. Number 3, the Iga Escape. This is the best level from the first game in my opinion. At first the level is a trap-filled ninja house, and having ninjas as the main enemies was a nice break from all the same yokai prior. I also like the walls being hidden doors. Very fitting for this place. But there's something even more special hiding within this mansion. You can see corpses and lootable items being stuck on the ceiling. At first I thought it was a bug of some sort, but once you go into this one room and come back out, the whole mansion has flipped upside down. That's just fucking cool, not much else to say. I like this level and it's my favorite from Nioh 1. Number 2, A Way Out. Yeah, right. Bullshit. But I love the look and feel of this level. Like, look at this. It's fucking gorgeous. It's like a dark enchanted forest. It has glowy mushrooms and shit. It also has a couple of stealth sections that I found a bit lame on my first playthrough. But you know what? It's nice to have some variety in levels. It can't always just be you fighting yokai. It's nice when levels have some unique gimmicks to them. There's also these pots here that you can use against enemies if you're smart about it. I like that as well. And the final section is such a nice looking set piece. I loved it. But without a doubt my favorite part of the level is this. I didn't even notice it the first time. That's Tatari Mokke, and it's fucking creepy, and I love creepy shit like this. But there's one more level that I loved even more than this one. Number 1, Cherry Blossom Viewing in Daigo. This is such a great conclusion to the story of Tokichiro, and look at this path here, fucking gorgeous. And you get a friend along on the trip as well, which is fun. There's another old friend here, the giant horse boy. Since I didn't fight it on my first playthrough in the first level, it was nice to actually get to kill it this time. But I love how the level starts off seeming normal enough, but then you start traversing it by moving floating platforms. And what I love even more is how you can hear Tokichiro's thoughts throughout the level. That and the music helped set the stage for the final encounter with him really well. I was pumped for it and it did not disappoint. It's my second favorite boss in the game. The level was great in terms of gameplay and storytelling. For that it's my favorite in either of the two games. So that's it for this top 10 video. Let me know what were your favorite levels in the two games. Thanks for watching, see ya.